How radical are young people getting?
More radical by the day. After COVID, my idea that we're going to have some kind of revolution really faded pretty quickly.
Yeah, I know.
Right? I don't think we're going to have some, 1776 revival here.
1789? I hope not.
Let's hope not. Yeah, I don't want to go on the guillotine either. But I think more and more what's going to happen is people are going to check out. We're already seeing this, right? We hear people, men walking away from the workforce, walking away from forming families. We're going to keep eating out the center of what actually holds our society up. We think it's abstract ideas. What it actually is young men going out, working, forming families, finding, worthy women, creating families, building societies together. That's what actually holds these things up. And it's all going to haul out from the center. And you can't import foreigners fast enough to solve this problem for you. And so what we're going to end up with is if we don't take radical action, I don't think it's some kind of armed rebellion. What we're going to see is a society that falls apart from the inside.
It's simple. Men stopped playing because the return on investment is garbage. Why pour time, money, and effort into women who bring nothing back but demands and entitlement? Society sold men a scam and then mocked them when they walked away.
What I'm trying to get at here is each of you, when we talk about which choice you'd make, like the career or the babies, we've asked this before and I'll let you keep going around, but usually it ends up being, well, I'm going to do what makes me happy. And if humanity dies, it dies. But men don't ever even really get that choice. Men don't ever even contemplate that. Men are like, well, the world needs to be built. Men don't get value just from being cute. Like, you guys could do nothing. You could just sit there and every word that comes out of your mouth can be absolutely R-worded and you can be total airheads and be totally good for nothing. And as long as you're cute, some man is gonna love you and pay your bills and give you whatever you want and do whatever he needs to do to make you happy. Men don't have that. Men have to provide value or nobody gives a shit about them. And even when they do provide value, people still don't give a shit about them.
Bullseye. That's the harsh truth. If simps vanished tomorrow, women would finally face reality instead of being coddled. No more free validation, no more unearned pedestal.
I put makeup on just for this date, so it better go well. And I'm not posting this, probably, if it doesn't. It did not go well. Truthfully, it lasted less than 2 minutes. I walked up, he gave me a hug and said, "Are you hungry? Let's go inside." We went inside. He said, "Actually, can you step outside for a minute?" I stepped back outside and he said, "I'm not trying to offend you, but I'm just not feeling it." So I walked to my car, came back home. Dating when you're fat sucks.
Plenty of bigger women hide behind headshots and filters, then play surprised when reality hits. At least he had the respect to walk away right away instead of faking interest. Better that than stringing it along with zero intention.
Comply or goodbye. That's how it goes. Now, if you want to take my advice and listen to me, cool. If you don't, fine. You'll stay single for a couple more years.
I know it sounds harsh, but what he's saying is most women never tell you this in person. They'll be like, you know what?
Nah, bro.
You're amazing. I love you, da-da-da.
And that
lie.
attitude, that attitude of I'm not going to change or I don't care what men want. I only want what I want. You're cooked, bro. You're never going to get a guy to
but
take
I
you
never
seriously.
said that I wasn't going to change, and we had this conversation earlier. I just said in this moment that right now I'm doing me, straight up, and that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying, you asked...
That's not going to work. That's not
Why
going
are
to
you
work.
getting so angry right
I
now?
am doing me is stupid.
Why are you getting so, whatever?
I'm not mad. I'm just
You're
telling
just
you.
getting super aggressive.
No,
if my man wants
because-
me to do something different, then I'm going to do something different.
I'm
I don't know
telling
why
you,
you're
you
saying
ain't
that
going
I'm
to
not.
get him. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
I am not worried about that. I'm genuinely not. I get asked on a daily, weekly basis if I want to be someone's wife.
Women treat I'm doing me like it's an achievement, when really it just shows selfishness and no accountability. That whole, I don't care what men want, only what I want attitude is the reason they end up single and resentful.
As a woman, you need to learn how to flip the script and make everything that man's fault. Even, it don't matter.
I see dozens of videos like this every single day. Explain to me again the benefit to a man to being in a relationship with a woman, because there isn't.
Men won't sign up to be dismissed or disrespected anymore. Keep thinking like that, and all that's ahead is a long road of loneliness. The double standard is wild. Women can call men broke, unattractive, or not enough. But the moment a man sets a boundary or standard, he's suddenly toxic or shallow.
You can be in love and be really unhappy. having a relationship that's causing you constant anxiety, constant heartache, constant pain, feeling overlooked, not feeling important. You can be in love and all of those things still be true. How crazy is that?
Nobody genuinely broken pulls out a camera. They process it in private. Posting tears online is just bait for sympathy and prepping for the next guy to take the hook. It's not about grief. It's about selling the sob story.
It is very hard to communicate facts without your interpretation of them or how people feel. I'm saying men will walk away, and men will walk away for 2 reasons. Number 1 reason, the quality of wives is too low. The women are too overweight. Not all. The women are too overweight. The women are too slutty. And the women, there's just not enough quality wives. You know, Aaron Clary broke down the numbers that Michael Knowles, he was kind of disputing them in our debate. But Aaron Clary did a whole video you can look up on his channel. It's from the Book of Numbers, going through how they got the 5% of women are marriageable stat.
Women mock men for being short daily and nobody cares. One gets labeled empowerment, the other cruelty, when in reality they're both just preferences. Men are finished following rules that only ever punish them.
All right, I'm gonna say it. Some of y'all aren't gonna like it. Doesn't make it any less true. Here we go. A lot of really good men are leaving marriages. Why is that? Is it because they fell out of love, or is it something else? A lot of what we're seeing now is men leaving marriages, not because they've fallen out of love, but because they feel unappreciated within that marriage. Now, these guys, they work all day, they provide, they make sure you're safe, they make sure you're taken care of. What do they get in return? A lot of them are getting criticism for what they didn't do, as opposed to the thankfulness for what they did. Men are not like women. They don't need a big show of affection. They don't need a parade. They don't need constant gifts. But what they do need is appreciation, gratitude, respect. What they want to hear is that the person they're working so hard for, or the family that they're working so hard for, to say, we appreciate all that hard work you're putting in. We see you. When a man feels unappreciated at home, doesn't matter how much he loves you, at a certain point, he can't keep continuing to pour from an empty cup. He's going to stop trying to pour into a cup that's continually empty. He's also going to stop pouring into a cup that constantly is looked at as half full.
You can only pour into an ungrateful cup for so long before realizing it'll never be enough. Keep acting like good men don't exist, and don't be shocked when they're gone for good.
My female coworker has already 39 people she's talking to on a dating app.
See, the only thing that I run into when it comes to that is that you started this 3 days ago. 2 days ago. Do you realize, for guys, we have to wait, weeks to get, likes, let alone a person that we are interested in.
Now, don't get me wrong, I feel for this man. He wants love like anybody else. But the thing about it is there are some men that feel a certain sense of entitlement for wanting certain women. And when they can't get that, they get frustrated. That's why they get mad at the rich aunties. How dare you be rich and attractive and fit and have all these things going for yourself and you don't want a man? I feel like they feel like women belong to them. So how dare you play hard to get? If I'm on a dating app, why aren't you throwing yourself at my feet? And they get frustrated when it doesn't work out like that. The fact that women have collectively decided to raise their standards is something that frustrates so many single men. Because as I said it before, and I'll say it many times again, settling is how a lot of them get picked. They don't want to come to the table with things that women actually want. They want to come to the table with money because that has been the easy solution for decades and decades and decades. But women are making their own money, so we're asking, what else you got? And a lot of them are tapping all over the place because they don't know what else they have. They can't add emotional intelligence, that they're kind, that they're patient, that they're romantic, that they know how to listen, or whatever it is. They can't add anything besides money. So when you say, I don't need your money, they don't know what else they can offer you. So they get frustrated with the women. Why aren't you throwing yourselves at us? If my life is already amazing and fulfilled, for you to come in here, you're not going to come in here and disturb the peace. You're either going to add to it, but I will never let you take anything away.
They don't understand. Out of all those matches, she'll be lucky to get along with at least one.
Men and women get frustrated by dating apps, but often for different reasons. Men get frustrated because they find it tough to get matches. Women get frustrated because they get too many matches. Men get frustrated because when they reach out, they don't get a reply or they get a lackluster reply. Women get frustrated because men suck at starting intriguing conversations. Men get frustrated when a woman ghosts them after a few days of chatting. Women get frustrated when a man only wants to be pen pals and won't ask her on a date. Men get frustrated when women look really good in profile pics, but not so much in person. And women get frustrated by that as well.
Just to let you guys know how low quality these men are on the dating apps, and that they're not really there to find their match. They're just there to play dating with you so they can try and hook up with you. These are what they'll do, and if they do any of these things, they're trash. Don't make the same mistakes I made. I had a guy that would get my seatbelt for me. He picked me up, took me to a restaurant, and then told me that he downloads and uses the apps because he's sexually frustrated. Got it. Another time I was walking to the bathroom, and when I came back, he said, "Hey, you didn't look very good from the back, but then when you turned around, I was like, oh, she's kind of pretty." Another guy told me in the middle of dinner that I was average looking, he was average looking, and that's why he thought it would work out. Also that he had a trailer that I could use if I ever needed it. Another guy, we were riding home and I pointed out a nice restaurant I wanted to go to, and he said, maybe if you play your cards right. And obviously invited me over afterwards, and I said no. And even the ones that look like they have their shit together, like hotel executives, I've been on a couple dates with those. I literally was in the middle of the meal and the guy had his friend come over and write off the whole meal. And then as he walked through the casino and said hi to everybody, we also got free tickets to shows. Like, the whole thing was written off. It was free. Another guy that I went on a date with, I didn't finish the drink. He kind of complained and said, oh, well, at least they're tax write-offs. Then took me to a really nice restaurant and then asked me to come over afterwards and pretty much threw a fit when I said no and just stormed off and was gone forever. Extreme Dusty, I dated for like almost 3 months, invited me over to his house for a bonfire, took me to like free car shows and a very cheap play. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Probably the nicest date I went on, I went to a Vegas show, and the guy was a high school teacher. His house was a disaster, and he told me he had an incurable STD, the H. And I said, I can't chance that. He was a raging alcoholic and threw a fit. No, thank you. So anyways, these men on these apps are pure trash, and they're playing dating with you. They're playing taking you on a date because they want to try and see how easy you are. Don't make it easy. Make them wait. If they wait, they might like you. Also, make them buy stuff for you and take you places you actually want to go. Otherwise, don't waste your time. Spend your time on yourself.
Yes, because all the good men have checked out after being rejected multiple times. Obviously, you'll only get trash and chads there now.
Last night I went on a walk with a friend. She and I were catching up. I hadn't seen her in a while. And she asked me about my love life, which I never talk about on this platform. But I thought this story was worthy of your consideration. I shared with her the experience that made me realize that dating apps were not for me. I had matched with this gentleman, and we were having an initial conversation, and he starts to ask me about my work. Now, because I know the scale of work that I do and the many accomplishments that has come with it, I really don't bring it up. I don't talk about it. I never lead with that. And so I keep it really general. I said, well, I'm an educator and I'm really passionate about mental health. And so he's like, oh, okay, this is great. What exactly do you teach? What level do you teach? And so I share that information, and the questions become more and more pointed to the point where I'm like, okay, we're having the work conversation. And so I provide a brief summary of the work that I do in terms of my career, my scholarship, and the platform that I have built on social media. And his response was, but can you cook a pot of greens? There's a word for this. Actually, there's a few words for this, but the word is called negging, not nagging, not N-A-G, N-E-G. Negging is backhanded compliments or seemingly playful compliments that are designed to take you down a peg, to put you in your place. And if I was a different woman, I could have laughed it off like, ha, 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 you so crazy. But I'm not that woman. And so a few things crystallized for me in that moment. Number one, love would not find me in this manner. Number two, The work that I do puts me in rooms that I would not be able to leave him in unattended, lest he say something inappropriate and then have people questioning my judgment. And number 3, I could not help but wonder, would you have asked a white woman this question? Would you have asked a white woman, can you cook a pot of greens? Which I can, by the way, but that's not the point, is it? It gave me some perspective about his perception of black women, of dating a black woman, and that regardless of what I accomplished in this life, that my value would always be tied to my output, my labor, and my service, my willingness to serve. And so I will leave you with this. Be wary of anybody who looks at all that you are and sees you as a resource to be used rather than a person to be loved.
Another example that good men are going their own way and the dating apps are left for the chads.
I have a theory about modern dating and dating apps. I think that we're actually not supposed to date as many people as we do, and hear me out because I'm not talking about body count. We are schmex positive over here, and we do not shame how many partners you choose to have. What I'm talking about is that I think we end up meeting and going on dates with way more people than we're supposed to. In the sense that when I think about the times pre-dating apps, which I lived in, I'm turning 39, so I was around before dating apps became a thing. You had to rely on just meeting people in the wild. Obviously, going to school, having a job, that kind of stuff made it easier and makes it easier to this day because you will meet people in the spaces that you frequent yourself in. I also think, but I'm not sure, that back then people were bolder when it came to like picking up in public. And I'm talking about picking up in like a respectful way, because there's a disrespectful, annoying way to do it. You would have a partner like every once in a while, every few years sometimes, that person that came along every now and then that you just felt a spark with and wanted to pursue things with. I just remember having crushes. My dating life was dictated by who I had a crush on and like fantasized about all summer. I don't remember, honestly, the last time I had a crush. Like, I don't remember. I mean, I kind of fell in love with someone I saw in the elevator today, and that was like the most fleeting moment ever, but I am thinking about that person for the rest of the day. And we didn't exchange a single fucking word. But you know that if I cross paths with that person in some kind of social space because I did not know what the fuck to say in a 3-second elevator ride, there would be something brewing. With dating apps today, I feel like we are sorting through so many fucking options and going on dates and trying out all kinds of people and then feeling disappointed that most of them don't work out. And I think that it actually makes sense that most of them don't work out, because those people that we actually have a spark with and actually want to end up dating are few and far between. So my thinking is kind of like, is it even worth bothering with the in-betweens? Maybe they still teach us something or help us grow, but a lot of the time I feel like they just like bring a bunch of bullshit that we have to deal with and heal from. Of course, there's the idea that we want that intimacy and connection because it is harder to meet people in the wild. But then I'm like, is it? Is it just because I'm like in my late 30s, I work from home, I don't really go places anymore? Because I feel like if I went to more spaces and was around more people, I would meet more people in the wild. I think it just makes sense that dating apps are exhausting because it's not natural.
Men suffer the most in this chaos, endlessly swiping, chasing connection, only to be used for attention, validation, or free therapy. Dating apps turned vulnerability into currency, leaving good men drained, cynical, and emotionally numb.
Reason 1,000,001 why the dating apps fucking suck is the men on there are ass fucking ugly. Y'all literally built the fire, then climbed into the pot. You decided amongst yourselves that putting effort into how you look, caring about your appearance, means you're gay. Now you're unattractive and women don't want to be with you. And yet you somehow still feel entitled to having an attractive, intelligent partner. But then she makes you feel insecure because you don't like how you look. You don't feel good about yourself. You lack self-confidence, and then you blame her. If you don't put effort into how you look and how you present yourself, why would I think you're going to put effort into me and our relationship if you can't even do it for yourself? Take a fucking shower, get a haircut, get a skincare routine, and start wearing some better clothes that fit and look look good. Put some fucking effort in and you may start getting some more matches. And if you're going to be offended by this, I would strongly suggest you look at the amount of matches you have and take a look at yourself. Do something about it.
Oh, really? You know what's actually wrong? The men you women sleep with are not the same men you date. That's what's broken.
You can't tell a woman to lower her expectations, but the reality is, what the data I've seen on dating apps is that all of the women want the same few guys, and they shut out the rest.
Yeah, okay, so there's a few things I'll respond to there. So one, going back to the income graph, I want to just call out that yes, right now in a few urban markets, women are making more than men. So women in DC and New York under 30 are making more than men on average, but in most situations, men are still making more than women, but we're talking about a projection. Going back to the dating research. So yes, it's exactly as you described. What we have right now is there's fewer and fewer men that are hypergamous mates for women. So if there's a much smaller pool of guys, then what you have is you have a bunch of women competing for the same men, and then a bunch of guys get ignored. But what I also see is that those top guys are having a hard time deciding. So I feel like in my coaching practice as a dating coach, I'm working with a lot of women who say, what do I do? I've changed my profile the way you said I should. I took your class, but I still feel like there's just not enough great guys. And then I work with these CEO men who are having such a hard time choosing. And so I think we really have this exacerbated problem where so many women are competing for the same men, and then a bunch of guys are getting ignored. And then what ends up happening is, where do those guys go? And they go online. They go to porn or they go to Reddit. I mean, I love Reddit, but they're really going to some of these red-pilled communities. And so what you're seeing now is just men really opting out of society. So when you go back to that stat, 1 in 7 young men in the UK is NEET, not an employment, education, or training. They have just opted out.
Fellas, get off the dating apps. Get off the dating apps if you want any good results here. Just get off the dating apps. They don't even like y'all on dating apps. They can't stand you guys on dating apps. They complain so much about how bad the dating apps are for them. Leave the dating apps. Just leave. They look for the red flags immediately. They'll screenshot y'all and send it to their best friends. They're doing TikToks of y'all. It's embarrassing for y'all out here. They swipe on 7 out of 100 of y'all. That's how much they don't like you. Get off the dating apps. Save yourself a shit ton of time, stress, and everything else, and get up out here in the wild and go after what you're interested in. Focus on yourself, but develop your interpersonal skills. Get up out in the wild and start going after what you're interested in. Don't let them gamify you anymore, because they're sick of you guys on dating apps. I'm telling you, they complain about you the most, how bad it is out here. Get off. If you have self-respect, you need to get off the dating apps. Don't be sending roses and hearts. They can't stand you more when you send roses and hearts. They get sick. They're like, ugh, he sent me a rose, girl. Yuck. Oh, you think I'm playing? Ask the girls when they get sent the roses. They don't even look at them. It's almost pathetic to them. It's like, yeah, he sent me a rose. They have overwhelming numbers and options on dating apps, and you don't get it. You ain't doing it. You're not having any success on dating apps because you're on dating apps. Get out in the wild. I'm telling you, I promise, this is going to save you. Your life will be so much better if you just hop your ass off.
Dating apps are extremely toxic, and hypergamy puts every man in a bad position no matter how good they are. And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. Support this channel through membership. You can also support through PayPal link in the description. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.